Hello, everybody. This is Willow, and I'm working to help people to wake up. Um, I wanted to get on tonight for a few minutes and talk to you guys a little bit about Morgellons because it seems like there's a lot more Morgellons cases popping up. I mean, I'm getting emails and messages and comments from people that are telling me that there are more people who are being stricken with Morgellons. Um, more than usual. I don't know if it's because of the increase of the energy that's poured into the planet, or if there's something else in the environment that's triggering it. I don't know, but I have my own ideas about what's going on. And I want to tell you what I think. Now, this is just my opinion. It's not set in stone. It's not, it's just my theory. Um, we got the coronavirus and all that going on. We've got the comets, stuff going on in the solar system. We got things going on with the sun. We got all kinds of things going on. We got high energy levels hitting us, and the energy is increasing on a daily basis. Okay, now we don't know enough about Morgellons to really pinpoint what triggers Morgellons, and we don't know. We just don't know enough about it to really say what triggers it, but we do know that not everybody gets Morgellons, of course, and it doesn't. It just doesn't seem to play favorites. I mean, it's people of all ages, all races. I mean, just it doesn't. It just has no limits. Okay, and it's such a devastating and horrifying disease until it when it hits you, it literally shuts down your life. Okay, you're pretty much have to put everything on hold to deal with Morgellons because it's that agonizing, it's that horrifying, it is that terrible. And now for somebody who doesn't have Morgellons, there's no way, there really are no words to explain to somebody that doesn't have Morgellons what it's like, because unless you're going through Morgellons, unless you're experiencing the itching and the crawling sensations 24/7 and the stinging and the burning and the stuff that comes out, unless you're actually living this nightmare, there's no way to explain it to somebody who's just sitting back on the sideline and watching, because even to us who have it, it's unbelievable. Okay, it's even hard for us to believe, even though we know that it's real. It's hard at times for us to even believe what is happening to our bodies. And we know, for those of you who might be new to Morgellons, who may have just recently been stricken with Morgellons, we want you to know that the ones who have had it for a while, we know what you're going through. We know what it's like. We know how horrifying it is when it first hits you. We know how shocking it is. We know what kind of state it puts you into. It puts you into a place of disbelief, devastation. And to make it even worse, you go to the doctor and the doctor tell you that you are delusional, that what you're telling them is not happening. So this makes your situation worse. Then you go home and you go to bed and you cry. And you cry for hours and hours, and you feel so hopeless and helpless because you're dealing with this on your own now, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. You don't know what it is. You don't even know where to start. And Morgellons, it demands every second of your attention. It is just Morgellons is that it is that extreme. It is that intense that it demands your attention, and you literally have to put your life on hold to deal with Morgellons. So for those of you who have just been stricken with Morgellons or are new to Morgellons, I want you to know that I know what you're going through. I know what it's like. I've been there. I've been through it, and I'm here for you. I don't want you to feel like you're on your own, because you're not. I can tell you about my experience. I can tell you what I did, and I can tell you that if you stay strong, if you have faith in God and you pray and you meditate and you persevere, you can survive Morgellons. You don't have to let it take you down. Anyway, and I have videos. You can go to my YouTube channel and you can find a video on just about anything that pertains to Morgellons. It's all there. But just to give you an idea of what I think is going on, and I've just recently come to this conclusion. I haven't always felt this way. To be honest with you, I just didn't. I've known about the chemtrails. I've known for a while that the chemtrails is what causes Morgellons. We know that. We know that what they're spraying in the atmosphere, spraying on us. We know that there's research has been done, and we know what's in the chemtrails, and we know what kind of metals are in it and toxins. We know that. We know they're spraying it on us. We just, for a long time we didn't know why, but I'm pretty sure that, and there are other people who feel that Morgellons was created intentionally to prevent us from awakening. I think the powers that be have known forever that this time, right now, was coming. This time where God was going to pour out his spirit or his energy on the planet, and God was going to wake us up so that we could ascend. I believe they've known this forever, and I believe they have planned this forever, and they've been spraying us for decades. The plan was to spray us with heavy metals, heavy toxins, and poisons, and so that they could keep our bodies full of these heavy metals and toxins and keep us sick, keep us dumbed down, so that we would not awaken. The plan was to stop the awakening process. Now, I believe there are other purposes for the chemtrails. I don't believe it's just to stop the awakening. I think there's a lot more going on with the chemtrails that we don't know about. But I believe that the main goal was to stop the awakening of humanity. But I believe that their plan has failed, because we are awakening in spite of it. Now, I know that everybody on earth has a appointed time to awaken. I believe that before we come here, that we decide whether we're going to ascend with the planet. I believe everybody's going to awaken. Everybody's going to awaken. Everybody has an appointed time to awaken, but not everybody's going to ascend at the same time. So there are some people who, in this lifetime, have chosen not to ascend, and I believe those who've chosen not to ascend will just stay in the 3D world. But those who have chosen to ascend are going to ascend into the fifth dimension or higher. And that's what we're doing now. We're in the middle of ascension. Now, as far as the Morgellons and how the Morgellons is triggered, we don't know that. We haven't figured that out yet. But I believe, and this is just my personal opinion, so don't bank on it. I believe that for those whose appointed time of awakening is triggered, in other words, when your DNA is triggered for your own personal awakening, I believe that once the awakening starts, I believe that the energy that God's pouring onto the planet is literally pushing or forcing the Morgellons out of our bodies. Okay, the Morgellons, the toxins and the chemicals that the powers that be and the government have been spraying on us to prevent our awakening. I believe that the God energy that God is pouring out on all flesh is forcing the heavy metals and the toxins and the Morgellons out of our bodies after our awakening is triggered. That's what I believe. Because it's so odd how, I mean, I don't think it's something that you catch, and I don't think it's something that's contagious. I really believe that it's all linked to our DNA, and that because there's so many people who have Morgellons who, and then other members of their family do not have it. They are the only, in my case, I was the only one in my family who came down with Morgellons. Nobody else in my family has it, or not yet. And nobody believed that I had Morgellons. Nobody believed that I had anything wrong with me. And that's why it's so bizarre, because it's so hard for people to accept. You know, it's hard for the victims to accept, more or less their families. But that's my thoughts on it. I really believe now, especially since we're having this we're having all this new energy coming from the sun now, and from the solar system. We're having the solar flares and the comets, you know, and the sun is putting out more energy, and that energy is hitting us. It's hitting all of us. It's hitting our bodies, our minds. It's affecting us. And so I believe that there are more people now who are being stricken with Morgellons, because there are more people who are being waken up by the increase of the energy. That's what I think is going on. And I think that the coronavirus is a cover up for the increase of energy that's flooding the planet. Okay, we are waking up. We are ascending into the fifth dimension or higher, and God is pouring out His Spirit, which is energy, on all flesh, and God is waking us up. Okay, and that is why everybody is not waking up all at once. I really think it's a DNA thing. It's a trigger, and when it's time for your DNA to be triggered and for your awakening to begin, that's when you're hit with the awakening, and that's when the Morgellons, which is caused from the chemtrails that our bodies are loaded with, heavy metals, toxins, and poisons. That's when the light or the energy hits your body. That is what the light's job is. It is to purify and to cleanse. Okay. And when I believe that when the light or the energy hits your body and your awakening is triggered, and everything within you that is not supposed to be in you is forced out of you, is removed by the light of God. Now, you can disagree with me. You can say I'm wrong. I mean, it's okay. I don't mind people disagreeing with me, because I'm not always right. But that is really what I feel in my heart. I feel like that's what I'm getting from God. I feel like God is showing me that that's what's happening with all these new cases of Morgellons. And I believe that the great time of purification is here on the planet, and that God is pouring out His spirit or his energy on all flesh, and he is performing the great purge on the planet. He's purifying not only our bodies, but our hearts, our minds, our souls, everything. Everything has got to be cleansed. That's what I believe is happening. And it's happening on a massive scale right now. I believe that maybe we were the first ones, or what they call the first waivers, to get Morgellons, or not get Morgellons, but to wake up. We were the first ones to have our DNA triggered, and we were the first waivers. They say there's first wave, a second wave, and then third wave, and then on and on. But I believe since I was stricken so long ago, I believe I was one of the first waivers whose DNA was triggered for awakening. Now, if this is what's happening, then we're going to continue to see more people wake up and be stricken with Morgellons. Because I'll tell you one thing, if you haven't already started your awakening when you get Morgellons, which most people haven't. I mean, Morgellons is what led to my awakening. I mean, I was stricken with Morgellons first, and then I went through a spiritual awakening. So that's another reason why I feel like that this is tied to the energy, because I started having the purge, or the Morgellons purging from my body, and then that led to my spiritual awakening. But I don't know if you guys want to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. I mean, you might have a better theory about what's going on. I don't know, but I do believe that the coronavirus is a cover up. I believe it's a cover up for what's really going on. I believe that the sickness, if there is a sickness, or the virus is it's just an increase of energy on the planet. Because if when the energy increases, you can have any kind of illness, because what the energy does is it purifies you. It's here. The energy is here to purify us, clean out all the gook, open up our energy centers so that we can be a conduit for the God energy, so that the God energy can flow through us like God wants it to, so God can use us. And so the people who, as the energy continues, the people who have the so-called coronavirus may just be experiencing an increase of the energy, or the energy may have exceeded their vibrational level. And if you're not a match for the vibrational level of the planet, then your body's going to feel the effects of it. So it could be that those people who are having like a suppressed immune system, or those who are maybe already ill with some kind of disease, maybe the ones who are being stricken with this so-called virus. I don't know. But it's all tied to energy. I do know that. It's all tied to energy and the sun. It's definitely got something to do with the sun. And the comets, solar flares, you name it. And then the Hopi Indians, they talk about the purification period. I don't know if you do any research on the Hopi Indians. They talk about the great purification, or the great cleanse on the planet, and that's where the planet goes through where we enter the photon belt, which is photon belt is just a high energy, a high spectrum of light. That's what it does, just photon light. And that light is what starts the purification, or the purge on the planet. And I believe that's what we're in right now. I believe we are in the photon belt. We are being bathed and pounded with this intense light. And folks, this light is God. This is God. God is light. God is energy. God is love. God is spirit. God is all these things. These are all synonyms for God. This is God pouring out his love, his spirit, his light on the planet. And he is preparing us, cleansing us, and purifying us, and preparing us for the ascension to the higher dimensions. And then, of course, after we ascend, we're going to start our new lives here in the new earth, the new heaven and the new earth. So I just wanted to talk about that for a minute, and I just hope that maybe, this will help some people out there understand a little bit, or maybe not understand, because I may not even be right, but it may help people have a little bit of ease about Morgellons, and help them to understand that there is a higher purpose for what's happening to us. There's a higher purpose for Morgellons. I can tell you for sure that it led to my spiritual awakening. And it's most likely is what's going to happen to you too, if you have it. If you don't have it, then it's great. I mean, and hopefully you won't have it, because I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I mean, it's just too horrifying and devastating. But if you do have it, just know that you have thousands and thousands and maybe millions now, I don't even know the numbers, of people who are going through the same thing you are. And they're out there making videos, and they're telling their stories. They're telling what works for them. They're telling the remedies that they found. They're telling what works for them, and they can help you. So there's no reason why anybody with Morgellons should stay locked up in isolation and behind the four walls and hiding themselves, because there's so much help out there now for them. So anybody who has any questions or any questions for me, or any questions about Morgellons at all, or about the remedies, or about the suffering, about anything, or even spiritual awakening, you can drop me a comment in the comment section, and I have and check out my videos, because I have lots of videos. I have videos on just about anything that pertains to Morgellons. And when I get new information, I do a new video and I put it out there for the people, because I know that people are going to need this. They're going to need this information. As we have more people waking up and more people getting sick with Morgellons, they're going to need this information. So I'm going to put out there anything new that I find out, anything new that I can help people with. And that's all I want to say today, guys. I just want you to know that I love you, and I'm praying for you. Thanks.